Good day, everybody. On this particular tutorial, we are going to create a simple, full-functioning navigation bar. It's going to be responsive, but simple. Basics. If you are new and you have not watched my previous tutorial on HTML, please, the link of this tutorial is on the description below. I took my time to explain in details most of the HTML tags. If you also new, you can also follow along with this particular tutorial. I'm going to explain everything in details. What I did is that I created a folder named navigation. Then inside my navigation, I created another folder. I named it logo. Inside this logo, I added my logo. You can add your logo as well. If you don't have a logo, you can go online and download some. Or you can as well add your own personal picture. Okay. I'm going to open this particular folder using my VS Code. I have also done a tutorial on VS Code installation. The link to this tutorial is on the description below. Open. Okay, I try my possible best to make the font bold, that those watching on a mobile device may also see clearly what is going on. On your project directory, this is nothing but the sidebar of your VS Code. I try to make it a little bit big. I said earlier, on Windows, Ctrl+B can close the sidebar and Ctrl+B can open it up. Now we are going to create a file named navigation. Okay? Navigation.html. Okay? Now hit enter. We have created a file. We are going to create a folder and we are going to name it CSS. Okay? Inside this folder, we are going to create a file. We are going to name it style. Okay? .css. It must have .css as an extension. Now we are going to create another folder for our JavaScript. Follow me step by step. We are going to call it script, okay? Or we can call it JS. Inside this JS, we are going to create a file named script. Okay? The extension will be JS, so .js. Save. We are going to close our sidebar. I'm going to close it that you may be able to see clearly. Ctrl+B. Okay. We are going to come to our navigation. Inside our navigation, that's where most of our code will do what? We start. Now we are going to start. On our previous tutorial, I took my time to explain everything you are seeing here in details. Please, I am not going to re-explain what I have already done. You can watch my previous tutorial. Over here, we are going to call it navigation. Okay? Navigation bar. Okay. Now, we are going to right-click to open with Live Server. I have already showed you how to install Live Server, which is VS Code extension. Okay, open with Live Server. Okay, we have opened with Live Server. As you can see, it says navigation bar. Okay, now we are now going to start our project. Over here, we are going to say navigation bar. We are going to also add more things on this particular project, which may not be today. So which will be content. We are going to say content over here. And below, we are going to say footer. Okay, footer. On our navigation, we are going to call our nav tag. Inside our nav tag, we are going to call a div and give it a class. This is the way to give a class to your divs on your HTML projects. We have class, we have IDs. Why do we give classes and IDs? We give them to be able to identify something unique. So they are something like unique tags. So if I want to style a particular section separately, I can give it a class. And when I'm targeting the class, I target that particular class and it will not affect other sections of my website. On this particular tutorial, we are going to make use of IDs and classes for you to be able to know how it works. Okay, over here, let me make use of ID. ID, we are going to call here, is going to be a logo. We are going to call it my logo. Okay, then we are going to close it. Over here, we want our logo to be on an anchor tag. Okay, and we want it to have, I spoke about adding an image to your website on our previous tutorial. The same thing we did is what we are doing today. So our logo is inside a folder called logo. I think I told you before, and the name is logo.png. It doesn't matter the extension as long as it's an image. The extension can be JPG. Everything will work according to plan. Over here, we are going to say is our logo. Okay. If you save, you notice it has appeared over here. Okay. We are now coming down to this particular place, which is going to be our links. Okay. Now over here, we are going to call our URL, which I mentioned before. I spoke about ordered list and unordered list. Okay, over here, I want to give it a class, which will be my URL. Okay. Now, in this place, I want to call our li anchor tag. Here will be home. Okay, here will be home. Now over here, after home, we are going to, let us just duplicate. Okay, we are going to duplicate this as many as you wish. Here we are going to call here about. Here is going to be services. Here is going to be gallery. Okay. Here will be called what? Let us call it contacts. Okay. If you save, you noticed it is over here and there are dots. We will tackle them very soon. Okay. We are now going to work on our CSS. Let me drag this over here. Please, I believe you are seeing what we are doing. The most important thing is not me just talking. It's you watching me to understand what we are doing. It gives me pleasure and satisfaction, please. Okay. To link our CSS to our HTML, this is how to link your CSS to your HTML. We are going to say linking our CSS, okay? Over here, this is the way to link your CSS. Okay, follow me step by step. Our CSS is inside a folder called CSS, and inside the folder we call it style.css. With this, our CSS has been linked to our HTML. If I say body over here and say the background color should be red, danger, and we save, we notice it has become danger. Okay. and this is not what we are looking for. Okay, we are now coming to style. Remember, we have what we call nav. We are targeting this nav over here. And we are going to make use of what we call flexbox because we want our navigation to align very well, not this. So we are making use of flexbox. We are going to come here, we say display flex, okay? We are going to say align item should be centered. If we say justify content, space justify content, we are going to say space between, and we save. You notice that now this is over here. Don't worry, the way it is, everything will be all right. Okay, now we want to target our logo. To style your ID is not the same way you style the IDs that you are going to style the class. I'm going to show you how to style your ID. ID comes with hash, then followed by the name of the ID. Now open and close brackets. Okay, so we are going to target the ID, we target the LI, we target the A, and target the image, which is our logo. We want it to have a weight of 50 PS and a height of 50. If you save it, you notice that it has become small. My logo is already round, but if you are using a logo that is not round and you want it to be round, you will simply add what we call border radius. Okay, then you can just say 50%, okay? It will fit the whole thing for you. Let us continue diving deep. We are going to target this particular class because we have worked on our logo, and you see the way here is not nice. The dot I told you about is caused by this particular li, okay? Now we are going to target that directly and say list style, okay? We are going to say none. If you hit save, you notice that they all disappear and there is a line on our anchor tag. We don't want the default line, so we are going to target it directly. We say text decoration, okay? We say it's none. We are targeting them directly. It has totally disappeared. If you watch, there is a default margin. Your browser automatically adds a margin to your website. For you to get rid of your default browser margin and padding, we are going to target the browser. Over here, we are going to call the star a star, your shift plus 8 on your Windows. Then we say padding is 0. We say margin will also be 0. If you save it and you open up, you notice they're all gone. Now we are going to come to our nav and say background color. This is how to add a background color. We are going to say is black. We have added background color to that particular section, as you can see. Now we are going to target this. Okay, let us target our class. This is how to target a class on your CSS. Dot first, followed by my UL. That is the name of the class. Remember, if it's an ID, it's going to be hash followed by the ID name. Okay, over here we are going to say display flex. We're going to say align item should be centered. Okay, let us give a gap on flexbox. We have what we call gap. Let us say that our gap is 10 PS. If we save this, you notice now it's now forming very well, but it's inside. So we are going to go back to our navigation at the top, we are going to say we want a padding. The top should be 10. The top and down is the first 10. The left and the right, we are going to say is going to be 20. Okay? When you hit save, you notice there is a change. It has shifted. Okay? Now we are coming to target this particular links. Okay, let us come below. Over here, we are also going to grab our class, and we are going to grab the li. We are going to say, let them have a padding of, let us just say, let's say 8 PS, okay? Now, we are now going to also target them again and say, okay, now we want our anchor tag. We want the color to be white, okay? If you save it, you notice the color is now white. Now, we are going to add our font family. How can you add a font family into your website? Now, open up your browser and type Google Font, okay? Open it up. Click on the first link. It will now take you to fonts.google.com. Okay, when you open it up, you are going to click on Roboto. You can choose any font of your choice. Over here, click on Get Font. Then click on Get Embedded Code. We are going to make use of this. Copy. I told you about adding a link to the head. Then paste the link. And save. The next thing we are going to make use of is this particular font family. So come back to your code. Let us now go back and say, okay, let us say the body, inside the body, we want by default to have our font family. Okay? As you can see, there is a little change. Let us dive deep. Inside our anchor tag, we want the font family, then we want the font size, okay? The font size to be, let's say 18, okay? We want font weight. We want it to be, let's say, let's use 600, and let us save and see what happened. Okay, as you can see, it's a little bit bold. Okay, now what next do we want over here? What next do we want over here? What next do we want over here? We are almost done. Let us add hover effect. On hover, we want on hover, we want it to have on hover. Okay, before we implement the hover effect, let us come to hover. We said on hover, we want the background color to be, what background color should we use? Let us use the same background, the same color with our logo. If you have not watched my tutorial on Chrome extension, which I explained the extension that I'm using to do this I'm doing now, please, the link will be on the description below. Watch very well. The background color is this on hover. Now, what happened? When we hover, you notice it has changed on hover. Okay, we are now going to say, okay, we are going to say border radius. We are going to, let us say 6px. if you notice now, there will be a round. Have you seen it? Okay, we want the color of our text to change to black on hover. We are now going to say, okay, dot my UL, we are going to call this, we are going to implement another, we say hover. Okay, on hover, we are going to target the A. We are going to say the color should be, let us say black. Okay, follow me step by step. Now, if you hover black, okay, now we are almost done. But remember, it is not responsive. To make our site responsive, we are going to make use of font icon that we can use to enable click events. So we are going to say font icon, open up the font icon. Over here, click on get the latest. On your font icon, if you have not logged in or registered, it requires registration. You can click on the user, they will tell you to log in or create an account. What happens is that when you create an account, a link will be sent to you for you to get your kits. As for me, I have already done that. So that's why you are seeing this today. What are you going to do with it? When you get your kit, you are going to now include your kit's link to the header, which will be something like this. This is my kit link. Okay. You are going to add it to the header. Inside the header, we are going to include it over here. A minute. Okay, we are going to include it over here. We are going to say adding our font icon. Okay, I like to give a comment. You paste it. Now, why are we adding our font icon? We want our font icon to be used on our mobile, to be able to open and close the navigation, as you always see on different websites. What can we do? Over here, let us type bar. We are searching for an icon. This is the icons. Now let us click on this bar. Once you click on it, you copy it, okay? It will automatically copy it. Now, let us come to our code below. Let us say here, adding, okay, our mobile icon, okay? We are going to make use of the button. Inside the button, we are adding this. If you save, you notice this is what you are seeing now. Let us start it a little bit. Okay, to start it, we will come to target the button. What if you have other buttons which you don't want to target? Let us give our button a class. Let us call it class. Let us say mobile, okay? Mobile button underscore, let us say button, okay? Let us target the class. So I told you to target a class dot, then you call the class. We are going to say background color should be transparent, okay? Then we are going to say we don't want any border, default border, because by default your button is having a default border and we don't want that. We are also going to target the icon, and we are going to say we want the color of the icon to be white, which is what it is, okay? And we want to increase the font. We want the font size to be 25 px, If you save and you open up, you notice we are no more seeing it. Let us find out why. Okay. We have given this, and then let us come here and say it's important. Two things can cause it. It can be because of our network. So it is here. Okay. Now everything is working according to order. What we are going to do is we are going to hide this on a larger screen and open it up on a smaller screen. Follow along with me. We are going to come here and say, let us say that the cursor should be pointer. And let us also say display. We don't want it to display. Let us say none. That means we are hiding it. It is hidden already. Follow along with me. Consider subscribing to my channel. Over here, we are going to now say, okay, we are going to work on our media query. Media query. I think you have been hearing about media query. Now we are going to see a simple media query. On our media query, we are going to come here and say at media. We are going to say mass weight. Mass weight, okay. We are going to start from 800. So from 800, let us check something. Let us say the body. Let us give a background color of green. Okay, this green will only take effect when the screen size is below 100. Let us check what happened. Do you get it? What is going on here? Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm just kidding. Let's go. Okay, over here, let us delete this. Smash the like button if you love what I'm doing. We are going to target this because if you notice on mobile, it will always be too close and small. What if we add more navigation links? To do this, we are going to make use of what we call positioning. We have positioning absolute, relative, sticky, okay, and fixed. But we are going to make use of relative and absolute. Anytime you want to make use of absolute in your positioning, make sure that the parent of the particular div you are targeting will have positioning relative. I will explain better. On this particular tutorial, the nav is the parent to this particular my logo div and this particular my URL. I will say that these are the children of the nav, including this. So we are going to go to the nav and set positioning. We want the positioning to be relative. When you save, nothing happens. Now we can now come below. Below our media query, we are going to target this particular my URL. We are going to say dot my URL. We are going to say the positioning should be absolute. You will notice when you save it, now this is covering the logo. We are going to say, okay, we are going to target the top to bring it down a little bit. Let us say 70 ps. If you notice there are no more there, they are now below. If we add a background color should be black. Okay. You notice they are here. We are going to call our mobile because we want it to display over here. We are going to say display should be block. Okay. We want it to display on a mobile, which is here. So after the mobile, it shouldn't display. on a mobile after on a mobile. Okay, subscribe to my channel. Let us dive deep. We are going to say, okay, the flex direction, by default your flexbox displays in a row. So over here we want it to display in a column format. We are going to say flex direction. Okay, flex direction, we want to say is column. What happened? You notice it has turned to column and there is a space. We don't want that. What are we going to do? Let us target left, because the space we don't want is at the left. Let us say that the left should be 0. That means 0 space. It has covered up. Let us enlarge the width of our div a little bit. Let us say width. We want it to have default of 40% of any screen or 50%. Let us go for 50%. Okay, the weight should be 50%. 50%. Okay, if we save, you notice it has become 50%. This is how to make your website responsive. Also remember that we are not going to just leave it this way. It doesn't look nice. We want it to automatically be hidden and open anytime we click on this particular button. Okay, how are we going to achieve that? We are going to make use of JavaScript. Okay, over here, let us come to our JavaScript. You remember we talk about JavaScript, which is this. So we are going to come to our JavaScript. Close this. Let me make this open. I want you to see whatever we are doing. Okay, inside our JavaScript, we are going to come to this place. We are going to say on click, because we want to make use of it. We say, let us give it a open. Okay, we are going to say open mobile. Okay, remember, nothing will work over here. Copy it. Let us now link our JavaScript. Let us say link JavaScript. Okay, how can we link it? We link it using script tag, then xrc is inside the JS, then we have linked it. Okay, inside our JavaScript file, let us say function, and let us paste what we just copied, which is the same name with this. Okay, open and close bracket. Let us check if it's working and say alert. Okay, alert hello world. Okay, we are going to find out if it will work when we click on this link. Click hello world. That means it's working. Okay, let's go. Now we are going to target this particular class. We are targeting this over here. That is the one that we wanted to display and hide, because by default it's supposed to be hidden. So let us go and hide it. Over here, come to this place and say display none. Now is hidden. Okay, okay, go back to your JS script, remove the alert. Now we are going to say var. This is a way of giving a variable. We have var, we have const, and we have el let, and we explain in details. We are going to use this as a variable equal to, let us say document. Okay, dot, we are going to say query. Okay, query selector. What are we going to query? Is a class, so it must have dot over here. I want you to see what we are doing clearly. Okay, now we are going to target this particular class. We are going to say, okay, we are going to call the class and say dot class list. We are going to say dot toggle. Okay, what are we going to toggle? We are going to, let us call it open nav. Okay, let us just call it open nav. If we save, you noticed nothing has happened and nothing has changed. You know why? Let us copy this particular name and go back to our CSS. Below is a class. Let us call the class and say display flex. Okay, some people can say display block, but I'm using display flex because I gave it display flex before and later say display now. So I want this to continue as flex box. When you save, you now open it up. If you click, it appears. You click again, it goes. You click, it appears. Click again, it goes. Click, it appears. Click again, it goes. If you open up on your normal listing, it becomes okay. Now, do you get what we have done here? So this is a simple way of creating your navigation. Smash the like button. We have gotten it. Please subscribe to my channel for upcoming tutorials. We are going to do a lot.